Oh, welcome back to the Monday Magnets. Two of my great friends parallel to my body at the moment. Geez, interesting week of football. Matt Rowell is on the verge of signing a contract, so just a little bit of a watch this space. And Geelong lost at GMHBA, which all three of us particularly love. Tails, what did you think about that result?
All that and more on 360.
It was the whiteout of their winning. We got the whiteout and we whited out the dub.
It's going to be so funny now that there's a clip of everyone down at Geelong waving the T-shirts, and it's just going to be clipped up as a meme, waving the white flag and losing to Brisbane at home. It's just so funny. So funny.
All flogs.
Yeah.
All of them. What did you reckon about that, Dossel?
Oh, it was great. I love seeing the Cats lose. I don't love seeing the Lions win. You know, I think... Yeah, I'm not a big Lions man, but if it means the Cats lose at home, I was pretty pumped.
One thing I was upset with, though, Paddy Dangerfield, game 350, he just didn't have one to remember.
No, he didn't. But early, Kai Lohman did. He was jumping at everything on Thursday.
He loves taking hangers on the Cats.
Yeah.
He always... In the preliminary, I reckon he took a nice screamer as well.
Goes back to Western Victoria.
Versus the Falcons.
Know what he's doing there.
Friend of the pod, the old Kyle Lohman. He's a Windaree boy.
He loves it. He's actually from Maryborough originally, and then moved up to Ballarat to pursue the footballing career, which worked out well for him.
That paid off.
It has.
Shout out his brother Snake Lohman. He's doing great stuff at Werribee.
It's all good. It's all well and good, boys. But you two got into a domestic dispute on Saturday, like a serious little.
I wouldn't say.
Tails, you could have gone up. You could have gone more vertical potentially. I don't know, but this is for you.
I was driving standards.
I wouldn't say a domestic dispute. It was put out quite quickly. There was about a minute and a half to go on the clock, and the ball comes into the forward 50. I'm tracking back to sort of make half a contest, and I get some hands in the back. Old mate marks it, and fair enough. Well, what can you do? And then all I hear is, Tails, you've got to make a contest. And I've turned around and it's Dossie chiming in. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, mates? After every time, and I'm thinking, after every time he's gone back and tried to go back shoulder and someone's taken a mark over him, I'm like, mate, I got pushed in the bag. Oh, you've got to fucking stand stronger. And I was fuming. But
it was funny. So I'd had a bit of a quiet day, and the ball got kicked in long, and it felt like one of those days where I was sitting at the Sedgy 45-metre arc, and we'd go top of the goal square. I'd go top of the goal square, we'd pop it to Sedge, I'd be in the pocket. I just felt so far away from the footy all day, and it was kicked high and long, and a part of me went, do I fly? Do I fly? Do I fly? And then I went, nah, go crumbs. It's a one-on-one. It'll spill. And when it didn't spill, I was like, oh, that's like another opportunity where I'm actually close to the footy and it didn't come down. And I just wanted my key for it. I wanted Tails, wrestle the bloke, grab the bloke, knock him. It was a terrible kick and he was out of position. But I don't know, just instinctively, I was like, oh, fucking hell, Tails. And then he sprayed me back. I don't know if there's a correlation, but I thought Tails last quarter, he took 2 or 3 genuine contested clunks, and that got me up and about. I thought the response was unwavering.
We all got a lick of the ice cream on Saturday late morning, but Tails, you're not alone, mate, because there was in the third or fourth, I think it was the third, I dodged and weaved my way through 3 or 4, and I got to 35, 40 out, and I had a shot.
And you fucking hero. It's third's footy.
It's almost goal of the year, to be fair.
And then, but if you look at the footage, you can see Doss and Dossie's.
Yeah, I was waiting for that eye contact because you got to the 60 out, 55, and I'm like waiting for that glance where then you just penetrated, and the glance never came. You sort of pinned the ears back, had the shot. I'm like, this better fucking go through. And then it just missed. It would have been unbelievable.
Yeah. That's why I went for it, and I had Jarrah for a handball, and he said I didn't spray you because it was handy, but
yeah,
you missed. So
it was one of those. I had one of those days where I just had a shocker. I had
You got off the ground a little. You kicked some weird ones to me with 3 metres of space that you should have.
I've never hit the footy worse. Like the footy was spinning ways. I've never seen it come off my boot. And then there was just times early, and I think we need to fix this as a club. But I had a couple of snaps early that I think I'd normally bury, and I had everyone at halftime making the gag like, "Oh, did you have brekkie today? You're a little bit hungry." And on reflection, there was definitely 1 or 2 out of the 4 that I had. Could have been passed off. But I reckon one. I thought there was 1 too. But I reckon you back me in for the other couple. Anyway, I was like, all right, I'll start dishing it. After half time, Shrey's doing stuff over the head. Yeah. Cammer's going from... And I was like, I understand the rhetoric because we do want to be team first, give that first option. But I wasn't alone.
Well, there's plenty of use in the forward line. And we all got a goal.
I did use the quote to Shrey at quarter time or something. I said... I've done food tech for 2 years in high school and I've never been burnt more in my life than in fucking 4 quarters of football. And that was disgusting. I think everyone copped a fair share of burning, but...
It's funny when we get our tails up, pardon the pun, and we get out to a 25 or 30 point lead, the wingmen start coming into the forward line, the half-back starts sitting around the arc. All of a sudden it goes from like this nice functioning team first to everyone just...
Well, it worked out because we fucking piled them up. Even in the 4th, we piled them up.
But I think everyone smelt blood and just wanted a nice little snag.
Boys, before we get into the round review, which we love the round review, don't we?
Oh, mate, it's why we do this fucking podcast.
How good is it? It's awesome. I'm just going to give you a quick start bench cut. I've got one for each of you, the specific to each of you. Dossie, let's get it rolling, mate. Start bench cut.
I'm going to be ruthless.
Yeah.
Like aggressive.
Stephen May.
Oh, my God.
Jake Lever.
I'll take that back.
Cozzy Pickett.
I'll take it back.
Oh, no.
I'll take it back.
Can mine not be Doggies players? Because
they're already written down. I can't change them now, and I don't even know. I don't even know what they are, but they're written down.
I take back my aggressiveness. I'll sit on the fence. No, I will be aggressive here. Start bench cut. Well, I'm starting Cozzy Pickett. I think he's a franchise player. I think he's the future of the footy club, if not the now of the footy club. I am benching Jake Lever, and he's been on the bench a lot because of his ankle injuries and his injuries of late. So
he can still play better than Stevie May.
He needs to sort his body out, I think, which no doubt he'd be doing.
He's had to carry at times over the last 18 months, that back line.
Yeah, he has. But sort your body out. You're sitting on the pine. And then I'm cutting Stephen May, been a great servant of the footy club. Age will not weary them. Other years condemn.
Oh, Jesus.
But I think it's starting to weary him.
Fucking.
I think it's starting to weary him a little bit. And he's out. He's out.
Stick that up, you Stephen.
Great servant of the footy club. I love him. I think we've got 18 months of Stephen May left, and he's forever a premiership hero. But
if
I had to start bench cut, I'd start Lever over him.
Wow.
I would have said bye to Lever.
All right, Tails. Arguably tougher. I don't know. Bailey Dale, Ed Richards, and Tim English.
3 of the better players in the comp at the moment.
What are you going to do?
Pretty sure all 3 of them had 100 fantasy on the week.
What you going to do?
They're all taking the piss.
Well, the last time I said something hypothetical about the Western Bulldogs, I got fucking death threats.
Yeah, that's because some morons didn't understand what a hypothetical was.
I mean, I'd be stupid if I didn't go Ed Richards to start.
Over Bailey.
Nah, Ed Richards is nearly the best player in the game.
One of the best players in the game at the moment.
That's crazy.
Ranked number 1, 25 plus.
Love his red hair.
Has kicked a goal in the last 9 games.
He's good.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. He's just good at footy, but
he puts a fucking good highlights package together.
So you're starting Richo.
Starting Richo, putting Tim English on the bench.
Wow.
Bailey Dale, where are you going?
I thought Tim was getting the cut.
Nah, I think Tim English is top 3 right now.
You could sign just a Sam Naismith or something, and
no, Sam Naismith isn't gonna. Well, Sam Naismith is gonna do a ripping job, but he's not gonna have 25 as well, at AFL level.
So what you're saying is Bailey Dale sucks?
Obviously not.
I'm saying the caliber of football players at the Western Bulldogs is so good that all 3 of them could be starting, but for this hypothetical, Bailey Dale has to miss out, unfortunately.
Unlucky Bailey, and I'm a Bailey as well, and I love you. But you're it's a good list of players.
Baz. Cal Wilkie,
I'll start.
Jack Steele, or Rowan Marshall.
Oh, well, at this stage, that's quite easy for me. Because Jack Steele is not playing
Wow.
to the ability that he needs to be, and he hasn't been. So that's pretty easy for me. I'm cutting Jack Steele at this stage. Callum Wilkie gets the start and Rowan Marshall gets the bench.
Wow, clip that up, Jack
So
Steele.
that's quite an easy one for me. If Jack doesn't agree with that sentiment at the moment, then
I've got a harder one for you.
go on.
Cal Wilkie, Naz Wang, and Jack Sinclair.
Yeah, well, that's
Well,
interesting.
Naz Wang's already gone, so you can cut him and just sort of
So that-
get
yeah.
ahead of the curb.
Yeah, Cal Wilkie starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, if you're going off of Jack Sinclair will stand the test of time with the St Kilda Football Club. Quote that. And so if we were going off of that basis, then I'd have Jack Steele on the bench. But Nazai Wanganeen makes the bench spot and Jack Sinclair unfortunately gets the cut. Sinks, you're a gun, mate. And I don't even think you're that far off Nazi, but just unfortunately on potential and a few other things, you're going to have to get the cut on this one. But into the round review, Thursday nights. Thursday nights are shit. And this week we had an 8:10 start at Optus Stadium.
8:10, Optus Stadium. They played State of Origin the night before, so the ground was in absolute smithereens, and it was Essendon versus Freo. I'm putting the block on instead.
Good colours.
I couldn't have been a worse Nick to watch the game. I was half asleep in the first quarter.
Were you at home?
No, I was watching it on the live stream, and I couldn't have been more disinterested.
Yeah, well, the
For an
game was
8-10
quite.
start.
It was quite disinteresting. But Freo starting to come to the top, and
Fuck the Dockers. I'm sick of
man, they're building a nice little season.
5 in a
here.
row?
I don't know
I
exactly.
think it's
but-
something like 5 in a row.
no, I think it's 6.
Wow.
But
Look, you'd hope they beat the Essendon VFL side when they're rolling out their 15th debutant for the year or something.
That Essendon side is really, really struggling. Like in terms of
sorry, start
who
that
they-
again, Dos. Sorry.
that Essendon side who they're putting out on the park is depleted. Like, it was the Ruckman's first game and he got fed to Luke Jackson.
Yeah, Will Setterfield's getting a run. What's his name?
Luke Setterfield's been good though.
Vicentini, who actually
Vigo Vermicelli.
he looked good in the first couple of minutes. He had like 3 or 4 touches in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and then slowly faded to the experience and vigor of Dogger Jackson.
That's probably Luke Jackson, one of his better games.
But man, yeah, 3 goals, 21 touches. Is that intriguing to the Melbourne fan base?
Oh, if we can crowbar some D's chat in, considering we had the bye, I'd love to. It's intriguing.
He
But
takes the deep breath,
But-
and now he's ready.
that was me on my vape for anyone listening in the car. No, that's... we know that Dog has got that in his kit bag, so it wasn't very surprising. And he's putting together a great season. It probably makes the hypothetical trade that seems to still have a little bit of a fire burning about it a little bit harder. But no, he's in great form. How good's their forward? I like their key forwards, the Dockers. Like, I like Big Tracy. I like the way he applies
Love
himself.
Tracy.
But then Pat Voss,
Man, last week he kicked 6 or something.
I always get a bit dismissive of the delisted player that gets the second chance, because sometimes you get really excited that, they had a bad experience at one club and they're going to turn it around at another. And it never really happens. Like, often the delisted player that gets the second chance might play you 30 or 40 games, but they just don't turn into the player. Pat Voss looks like he could play 150 games for the Dockers.
Last week he dominated, and this week it's like, I mean, when you're the third option, when you're the third, fourth option, you don't get as much attention, obviously. But like you see it like last year with Kyle Lohmann, I know we just spoke about him briefly, but in the grand final, when you're the third, fourth option, if you're good and confident, you can take clunks. If you've got, if you're either one, Pat Voss tall, and you're not afraid of going into the contest, or a guy like Lowy who's extremely athletic and can play much taller than he is. If you're confident, not getting the attention as a third, fourth option, you are one of the more valuable players to a side like a Pat Voss is playing at the moment.
He maybe his size, I don't know if he's the tallest key forward of all time, but maybe his size was a bit of a knock, but he plays with such aggression and such physicality, which is... Like, sometimes you draft these forwards out of the APS or whatever it's called, and they've got this athletic ability, and you got to teach them to be physical. It feels like Pat Voss is pretty naturally physical.
What do you even do as a back line? You got Jai Amos, who is a leading goal kicker for their club. You got Josh Tracy, who's almost the best forward. He's probably the best forward this year. Maybe
Best
the
forward in WA, mate.
last 2 years. Pat Voss is coming to the top. Bolton can give you 2 a game. What do you do, man? Like, I don't know, as a backline, what you do. Saturday, the Friday night game, we spoke about Cats Brizzy, which we just love. We just love the
Stiff
fucking
Catters.
Cats getting beaten on their home deck. But
Stiff guys.
what was very great to see when you turn it on and you're a quarter into the game is Carlton down by 30 points against North Melbourne. That is awesome stuff.
It got out tomorrow. Did it? I reckon it blew out.
It was 40-something point. I couldn't have been happier. Sitting on the couch, coming home from football and seeing just, for starters, Charlie Comben in a long sleeve, taking intercept clunkies and burying Charlie Curnow.
He was looking really hot.
Him and Toby Pink put on an absolute clinic of giving Charlie Curnow the biggest bath of his life. And then North Melbourne holding on to beat Carlton at the G.
Name 2 unlikely types to shut down Charlie Curnow.
Fletcher Roberts and Linjong. Next.
I was more thinking Pink and Comden. But just
And
two,
Logue.
Comben.
yeah, 2 rogue operators that are performing.
Charlie Curnow riding his bike to the MCG would have been licking his lips walking out to the punt road, and it's Griffin Logue, it's Toby Pink, it's Charlie. I always butcher his last name.
Comben.
Comben.
I say
Comben.
Comden.
Yeah, I give a bit of condom.
That's a place in fucking New South Wales, mate.
Comben. I feel like Curnow would have been licking his lips, but he's been put to the sword by the boys.
Look, for Charlie Comben, like 2 years ago, was not getting much time as a key forward for North Melbourne, getting switched down to the back line. He's playing out of his skin at the Roos, which is awesome to see. And he's like Josh Simpkin said, he's one of the most mentally strong players at that football club, and he's overcome a lot of adversity. And I know I fucking ride his meat every week.
You love sucking.
Love Chommy to bits, but he's just the future of that club. He will be a leader in the coming years.
Port Adelaide's season is potentially over tails. The from 10th to 13th on the ladder is really strange because the gap to Gold Coast, who are 9th, they're on 32 points. Carlton, Sydney, Port, Essendon, all on 24. It's a bit lower. Like usually from 7 to 12, they're all sort of the same. But right now there's a bit of a gap. There's a 2-game gap between 8th, 9th, and then the rest of those.
So from 9 to 10, I think there's a 3-game gap. So the top 9 is pretty like cemented, but the bottom part of
10 to 13 is 2 games off 9th and 8th.
Yeah, and
The Powell were never in it this year.
I think they're done now. I think it's done.
Yeah, but
Port Adelaide.
they showed that they once they got creamed by the Pies at the G. I reckon it was like early in the year, like 80 points.
Didn't
But they
Dan Houston-
pantsed Hawthorn in gather round, like at home.
Was that the occasion? It was the Ken Hinkley Guinea Cup.
Nah, sometimes Power can just win games randomly by 10 goals.
They have history against Hawthorn. Nearly
Yeah.
beat him in a prelim one year.
Yeah, I don't know. They just haven't fired a shot this year. And it was crazy that it was Sydney and Port on the weekend. Both played in a massive prelim final 6 months ago, and they've both been really disappointing this year. It did look like a 10th versus 12th game. Like it didn't have any sort of buzz about it.
They also beat the Giants by 16 points in Canberra the other week. So they know when to switch it on, but sometimes they just forget how to switch it on. Sometimes they just can't find the light switch.
Have you
And that's a shame.
have you ever seen me turn it on? In any sense?
Define turn it on.
I don't know.
for
That's up to you. You decide.
We've been at the Riser sometimes and you walk in with this gusto and you buy the whole table shots 2 minutes in from walking in, and I think you're going to turn it on, but then
I
an
walk
hour and a
home.
half later, you haven't touched another drink and you
And he smoke bombed and got
sort of
out of there.
back it up.
But I
But I assumed at that time that it was turned on. And
He
it probably
can't-
was
he-
in that moment.
At that moment in time, he comes with more presence than Santa. But
Yeah.
you really don't see much of him for the next 20 minutes.
So I feel like you guys build up this presence a little bit because, especially when we were at the Riser or at our favourite pub, sometimes I'd walk in after you guys have already been there for 40 minutes and you guys have built this, Baz, is he coming? Is he not? And I'm not trying to come in with presence. You guys build the presence? I don't know.
No, I think you sort of tease us. You sort of, am I arriving? Am I not? And then when you do arrive, it makes us arrive.
Does it lift the group?
Yeah, it lifts the group, lifts the vibes.
Saturday evening, prime time, it's just, what are you doing putting Saints back to back to back prime time slots? I don't know. But it's against the Pies, and historically, love playing against the Pies, the Saints. And the scoreline, 34 points to the Pies, is not vindicative of how the game actually was played. The Saints were a lot closer. It teetered out towards the end. Can we talk about Marcus Wintega?
I like Wintega.
And his hard tag on Nick Daicos. He's been fined $1,500, Tails, and you fucking hate the MRO.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the MRO. I'm glad it was a fine and not a suspension, to be honest. But
I don't think it should have been a fine.
It's just a push in the chest.
Yeah, it was a
Is
push
that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it happens 100 times
it was
a
a
game.
push in the chest, and Windhager is a bit bigger than Nick Daicos. So when Nick Daicos gave him one to the chest, I'm sure Windhager copped it, but then Windhager just got him a bit, maybe in the sweet spot. And yeah, I feel like going back and forth, the MRO's got to be a bit better.
I liked the fine because I don't like when people give close attention. I see Nick cop it and it just gives me PTSD to the weekends in the VAFA.
Why is he on this pod? Why is he
There's
on the
probably
pod?
not enough umpires down at the VAFA protecting the star players, I feel. So
You're saying you're on the same level as Nick Daicos.
Get him off the pod.
I just want more protection. That's all I'm saying.
Tim Membry back against his old sidekick too, which I love to see. I love the skunk.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Jeremy Howe, he's trying.
He's been in great form this year. He's
Jeez, the one thing I'd hope he'd be fucking doing when he walks out in front of 40,000 people is having a crack.
You know what he hasn't done? He hasn't taken a hanger since he did his knee like 3 years ago. And that's what I loved him for back in the day.
And he broke his arm.
Nah, I still reckon pre-arm, he hadn't taken like a real Specky McGee. So, bit flat about that.
And then onto the Sunday, we're obviously affected by the bye rounds. But the Giants, Suns.
Game of the week.
NG Stadium, ripping
Expansion
game.
Cup.
The Expansion
The
Cup.
Suns kicks like 7 goals in the first quarter and 4 of them were in the first 2 minutes.
Is this the game everyone here watched probably the closest?
Yeah, I was
Sunday.
I was paralysed on the couch. Pants were off. There
Really?
wasn't- Yeah. I
That's
don't
hot.
care.
That's hot.
I don't care. And I was just tuning in. It was awesome.
But
Pringles in
Pants
there.
were off.
This is a statistic for you boys. I just want to imprint this onto you guys. Currently, the top 3 disposal winners for the year in total disposals, the top 3 are all at the Giants. Lockie Ash, 438 disposals. Tom Green, 433 disposals. Lockie Whitfield, 421 disposals. Then it goes Bailey Smith, Caleb Sarong. So, if so facto, Giants good at ball win.
I reckon that
Yeah,
all
but
those
that
guys...
gets you 7th. So, what
And
does
no fans.
Yeah, what does touching the footy do?
Better than 8th, a wise man once said.
I reckon all those names you said were all drafted in and around the same year.
Well,
Maybe a year or two apart. How weird's
no,
that?
Lockie Whitfield would be way
Oh,
older.
he's fucking ancient.
So what are you? You're a liar
Yep.
and a thief.
Yeah.
Really dishonest.
And then Tails, your Doggies, last game of the round. The boys got up against the Tigs, never in doubt from word go.
Pretty expected.
Could
to
have
be
been
honest.
120, it felt like at one point.
It
They were
was-
creaming them.
Some of the forward entries, I was almost kind of like, can we slow this down? I'm trying to watch this from my couch, and it's all. I thought it was Fast and Furious, fracking number 9 or something. But how good? I know I say this every week, but fuck, how good is it that Sam Darcy is back?
Yeah.
Kicking fucking snags.
Yeah, it's awesome, but it sucks at the same time.
It sucks to every opposition team, but like Sam Darcy marks the ball at I need to get this right. He marks the ball at 4 meters high. So from the ground up,
4 meters.
he marks it 4 meters above the ground.
4 meter Peter.
That's 2.5 McDonald's.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It is so good to watch.
I just want to go through this Tigers team, and you guys tell me the first word that comes to mind when you hear this name. Okay? Jasper Olga,
Debutant.
Goer.
Thomas Sims,
Handy.
Computer game.
Hugo Ralph Smith,
Star.
Mullet.
Caleb Smith,
Sexy.
Subway worker.
That's 2.
I've got no idea who that is.
Sandwich artist.
Ben Miller,
God.
Big.
Big Ben Miller. It's like the Instagram accounts.
He's God.
Yeah.
Luke Trainer,
Gun.
Interceptor.
now
YouTube.
Nightmares.
Upgrade the defender every time I score.
Jacob Blight,
Another God.
Sushi.
Sushi.
that's a callback.
That's
In the biz?
In the biz, what we call
Get on
a
it.
callback.
From outside.
My Kelty Lafau,
Gun.
Athleticism.
Shout out junior time.
James Trezise,
Jimmy Trezise.
Backman.
Skillful.
says midfielder on here.
Oh, shit.
Harry Armstrong,
Promising.
Water the seeds.
and our last one, Kane McAuliffe.
Kane Pettifer.
Handy.
Oh, what a great segment.
And then another one. Noah Bolter. Cut that. Cut that one.
We can keep it. I didn't mention. I'm just going to say it once and then we're gone. Noah Anderson is our ball magnet of the week. 42 disposals.
Him, took Miller, Matt Rowell, 113 touches between them.
Incredible.
Noah Anderson was really trying to will them over the line.
Yeah,
On the
he was just. It took Miller's last quarter. Was like he was just chasing. It looked like he was chasing tail all like the whole 20 minutes, and it was frustrating to watch because you could see he wanted the boys to get up and about, but it looked like he was the only one that gave a fuck.
Bailey Humphries too. I thought he was going to will them. They got to finish those games. The Suns got themselves in a great position. They dropped another 4 points.
I think Dimmer will train that into him. Dimmer's a good enough coach where next year I think Gold Coast will be in the argument for top 3.
100%. I back that. And you know what else Dimmer's not going to do? He's not going to make him run fucking 3 2Ks in pre-season.
Yeah, nice one, Coxie.
Fucking
Look
idiot,
how far that
Coxie.
got you, mate.
Good on you, Coxie. Back to just quickly on the Swans. Joel Amartey,
Yeah, the Joel and Chol connection that I want.
minus 10.5 ranking points because he kicked 0-6.
Now, I will just argue, I want to watch that game back if I can and just see how well he competed.
But I just want to say, I don't know how they do the ranking points. If you kick a point, you should get a plus. Like, I know you've missed the target.
Yeah,
but it's a
would
score
get a plus, no?
involvement. So surely 0 goals 6
Yeah,
is...
but he might have been holding the ball twice. He could have kicked it out in the full. He could have turned it over 6 times. Like, you just don't know.
I think I kicked like 1 goal 4 or 5 on the weekend, so I might be in the minuses.
All right, well, if you're not familiar with the world-famous segment, Piece of the Week, each of us picks something every week that we loved from the round, and we bring it to the forefront. And then if there's a player or a organisation involved, Taylor sends them a nice little voice message to let them know that we loved them, don't we?
We get around them. I like getting around the players.
Last week,
In the
you had Georgiades who bagged like 6 goals.
Mitch
and
Georgiades, he loved the voice message. So it's,
got back to us very quickly.
yeah, very quickly. It's good to get around the boys.
So if you want to go and look at that, that's at the end of last episode. But this week, Dos, what is your piece of the week, brother?
Piece of the week, shouting out just a star of the comp, who was the sub, came on late in the game, really impacted for the Giants. It was Jake Stringer.
Oh, Jakey.
He kicked 2 absolute miracle goals from the boundary. The second probably better than the first, and it got the Giants over the line, celebrated to the crowd, and brought a lot of energy. The package.
He's still got it, the package, still delivers.
He's so good. Coming on as a sub. Man, do that every week if you want, Jakey. Kane Corn said, no, well, we can't do that because then his fitness is going to go, as he's been privy to. But Stringer, well done, brother.
Impact.
Piece of the week. Well done.
Well done, Jakey.
Well done, Jakey.
Tails, mate, tell me, what's your piece of the week?
My piece of the week, young midfielder by the name of Tom Powell. Absolutely tore it up at the Coliseum on the weekend with 34 touches. And he was just everywhere, getting the Roo boys over the line. He was leading from the front. And as a 23-year-old midfielder, he's looking to be very much a part of that new crop of North Melbourne crew coming through that just excites me. Just like makes
Perks you
my
up.
pubes stand up a little bit.
I love that shit.
Austin Cookston thinks that he will be their best mid when it's all said and done. Actually, I'm not sure if that's exactly what he says, but he's super bullish
I
on what
reckon-
Tom Powell will be.
I reckon Tom Powell will be the Tom Liberatore of North Melbourne.
Oh, like that?
He'll be the gun second string midfielder. Well, not second string, but like
The one who
second,
holds the midfield up but doesn't get like the shine.
the
for
second
his hard
fiddle.
work.
He's like the Robin, and someone else will
Yeah.
be the Batman. But fuck, he's going to be a good Robin.
He's going
It's
to be
like,
a fucking good Robin.
It's like having 2 Batmans, pretty much.
Yeah. He's
well
a gun.
done. Powley, you're a gun,
Okay.
mate.
Good on you, Powley. What's your piece of the week,
Man,
Macabus?
mine is actually a bloke that played against the Saints on the weekend. And it might be a little bit rogue because I love Rowan Marshall, but Darcy Cameron is a bloke that does not get enough credit when it comes to Collingwood winning football games, and they've been doing that pretty frequently this year. Just beasted all day. It was the around the ground. I think Rowan Marshall only had 2 marks all day, and Darcy Cameron had 8, was just marking everything up the line. 19 disposals, 28 hitouts, and 2 goals won. The man could have kicked 3 from the ruck. And I just think he's a gun. I think he's a freak and is perfect for that Collingwood lineup. So Darcy Cam.
Good on you, Das.
Boys, I've been struggling a little bit. I've had some hip pain. I've actually, just when I'm playing, my hip flares up, my groin flares up, and when it hits like the third quarter, I can't really move. I don't know what's going on. You're old. You have any of that?
Yeah, I've got heaps of ailments.
Hold up, mate.
My back's tight, my hammy's tight, my calf after every game feels like it's falling off. I can relate, Baz.
And then by what point in the week are you good to go?
Like Wednesday?
So the world famous segment brought to you by AIA Vitality. Good shouts. And we just love AIA. How good's that mug? It's doing well, surviving.
It's held up all right.
But the good shouts, we like to talk about things that we do throughout the week to keep ourselves healthy, fit and firing. And just the last couple of weeks, I've been doing some new strategies to try and get this hip right because I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. And obviously the hip flex is a weird one. So I've just been really doing a prominent 20-minute stretch pre-game before every game we're playing. And I'll tell you what, boys, it's really, really helping.
What are you doing? Are you rolling it out or you got the bands or?
No, just some good movements in my hips. I could get up and give you a demonstration. I'm not going to do that.
That's
but,
okay.
Yeah, some like 90-90s, if you know those ones.
Love those.
90-90s
Love
are great.
those.
They really release, but also just getting a roller on it
Yeah.
helps a lot. So, yeah, that's my good shout of the week is rolling it out, stretching it out, but like a prominent stretch out, like really caring about the stretch out.
Focus with intention.
With intent. Dossie, what are you doing pre-game at the moment? Or just to get yourself right pre-game?
Well, a little bit like you, I didn't love eating before games.
Hate it.
But I've gotten into it. So
Really?
I prepare a bircher muesli the night before. Overnight oats, essentially. So I get some rolled oats, get some honey, some
Cooper
cinnamon.
Hamilton inspired.
Yeah, he does the baked oats. I grate an apple, a couple of apples goes in, and then a lot of vanilla yogurt. Sets overnight, and it's ready to go by the morning. So I've been waking up, watching Cozzy Pickett highlights in the morning. I watched a lot of Conor McGregor on Saturday, and I messaged Rog, and I said, "Oh, Rog, I'm feeling $1 million. Can't wait to go today." And then he wasn't at the game, so he watched the replay of the footage on the Sunday morning, and the first contest I pulled out, and he goes, "You sent me your Birch and Muesli and your Conor McGregor motivation, and this was your first contest." And I went, "Yeah," that sort of set my whole day up. But nevertheless, the Bircher makes me feel really good. I feel like I can run games out a little bit better.
That's elite. You're actually finding that?
Yeah, I feel, I don't know, like you don't get that sort of 3/4 time burnout or fatigue mentally. So get around the Birch.
Tails, what's your good shirt of the week, mate? What are you doing pre-game?
I'm a big hydration man. I like to pre-game.
I've never met a bloke that is more of a hydration man.
I'm a big when it comes to hydration, I'm the chief officer. I love to get the fluids in pre-game. Usually on the way to the game, I'll stop. If I can stop in one spot and get a coffee and a Gatorade with no sugar, I usually
You're well
indulge.
placed.
Yeah, usually well placed. Usually indulge, and it's usually the glacier flavour, the blue flavour.
Mm-hmm.
That glacier,
That goes down a
so
tray.
nice. It's like, it's not too cordialish. It's sort of like, it's nice, like watery. It makes you, it's like you're tasting the glaciers.
And if I can get one of them down before the game, electrolytes help the hydration sort of kick in within within 20 minutes after consumption. Whereas water, hydration, you're more hydrated after 2 hours. So electrolytes help speed up the hydration process. Yeah, and then I also get a coffee as well, just to
Perk you up.
balance myself out, perk myself up, bit of caffeine, and yeah, keep myself light. Nothing too heavy.
Tell you what, he was light on the weekend. It was fucking impressive, Tails. One-hand grabs out of nowhere.
Felt pretty heavy because I was.
He was strong there. He was strong with the one-hander.
Yeah, didn't get a spray that time.
Yeah, no spray for that.
And that, you know what? That came from McCabe and McDonald, sustained pressure. If you've watched that back, we didn't let it go, did we?
Yeah.
That came from a shit little 3-metre kick. I don't know what you were doing.
I know.
That was hands, man. That was a handball.
But he got.
I was literally 2 metres from him.
He got the sand wedge out and he chipped one up to me and he just put in the.
Even that
in the
kick
right spot.
though, like, man, my kicking on the weekend was crazy. There was something wrong with the ball. It had to be.
He didn't do that.
I thought it was all right. Kick 2, so I thought I was doing all right.
Thank you to AIA Vitality. Just a great company, keeping us fit, keeping us healthy, keeping us alive. And those are our good shouts of the week, boys. So well done. And to finish off the podcast, one random player from AFL history.
Guy Rigoni.
Taylor?
Should we actually send Tom Powell a message?
Yeah,
or,
we didn't
or
do
are
that.
we just
did we?
going to prance past
That was a
the
good one, though.
whole idea?
I'm going to say Brent Riley.
Random AFL player, I'm going to say Paul Greenham.
Great man. All right, send this man a message.
G'day, Tommy Powell. It's Will, Baz, and Caden here from the Monday Magnets podcast. Just wanted to give you a massive wrap on your game on the weekend and your season, mate. You've been flying out of the gates and you've been stringing together a few good games, and it was good to see the shin boners get up against the Blues on the weekend. Watching from the couch, you seem to have the ball on the string. So you've been our piece of the week this week. I'm sure that's pretty high within all the honours you've got throughout your AFL career. So I understand if you're quite lost for words, mate. But all the best for the rest of the season. We're really excited to see what you provide, my good friend.
Hey, Tommy. Kados here. You know, a lot of people within the industry think that you're going to be the Robin to the Kangaroos' Batman. But you're better than Batman, mate. You look like Superman on the weekends. Keep putting the cape on, keep doing your thing, and can't wait to see what you do across your career. You're an inspiration, and we love you.
Coffee on me, Powley at Temple Arden next week. I got it. Next one.
Sure, I'll enjoy that 1 minute 10 voice.
Minute
message.
10's long.
Oh, well, we just tell them what
In a
we
world
feel.
of attention spans.
We just tell them how we feel, and if they want it, they can take it.
Absolutely.
But well done, gents. If you want to hear the reply, if Powell gets back to us, usually
That's on the
replies-
Patreon.
we don't have a Patreon. That'll be off the top next week if we get a response, and typically replies within the hour, which is great to know.
Can't wait. I love that, man.
Well done, gents. Well done, Powley.
Well done,
And
boys.
well done, shin boners.
You.
Great work, gents.
Just quietly, Tyrese Halliburton has been helped off the court in Game 7.